Hello Libra friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Libra February 2022 Astrology Must-Knows Horoscope Forecast. Definitely click on the little more button with the arrow to the bottom right of this video to reveal all the links to all of the free goodies that I make for you each month, including how you can run a free birth chart by signing up for my free email newsletter, also my books, you can see about readings and how to learn astrology with me, all in the notes underneath the video. This is for you if Libra is your sun sign or your moon sign or your rising sign, or if you watch for any other Libra placement, this is going to be part of your astrological picture. And if you are very late degree Libra, so we'll say October 15th or so through the rest of the sign, or 23 degrees or so through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally watch my Scorpio report because you very cuspy people have a more complex read, and both of those readings are going to have pieces for you. February is one of the least astrologically active months we've had in a long time, and I think that will be a great relief. There's always a lot going on in the stars, and there are always lots of things to talk about, and we will go into detail about everything relevant. But I am welcoming this relief where we're not in eclipse season, we don't have big clashes with the outer planets that are challenging. We do actually have a beautiful, beautiful, rare, sweet aspect with outer planets, and we'll talk in detail about that. So I think it's very exciting. We have a hybrid month where part of the month is covered in retrograde and part of it's direct, and we're opening up into one of, actually, I think the best, biggest launch period of the only two that we have this year. So we're opening up into that towards the end of the month as well. Since Mars is going to be retrograde much later in the year, we only really have two open windows of time without the personal planets retrograde interfering with things. So it's very important to understand this calendar. So I'll give you a sneak peek into from the January through April 2022 calendar as it relates to a lot of important events. And I'll help you align the types of activities that you might be doing with the best timing for those as far as these astrological transits. And then we'll go into depth about that Jupiter Uranus aspect and what kind of things you might see from that. Okay, so our Libra specific focus, we're going to talk about that Capricorn spree that's going on and what that means for you, what areas are highlighted. We'll talk about the Aquarius transits, including that new moon. We'll get into the full moon in Leo, and then we'll get into the other goodies that we talked about. First big must know is that as the planets move through Capricorn, it applies pressure to Libras. And I know you've been feeling it, and this is for an extended period of time because usually the planets move into Capricorn, they get out, but because Venus was in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, it's there for an extra period of time. Mercury was also dipping into Capricorn in its retrograde, so it's actually there for longer. And now Mars, which is only in Capricorn once every 2-ish years, is there as well. So you all are feeling the pressure, and you're especially feeling it in your home, family, your inner psychology, real estate, anything having to do with family relationships or your childhood, things happen then that are having effects now, buying or selling houses, real estate businesses, home-based businesses, or any businesses that or lines of work that are related to homes or people's housing, right? So that 90-degree angle that you're experiencing for this sustained period of time is putting pressure on you. It's nothing to fear. It's just something to know that it's happening, because if you're like, what the heck is going on? Why am I feeling so much sustained pressure in this area? It's because of Capricorn. But what Capricorn wants is discipline, consistency. And so there are many things in those areas of the home and family that need to be shored up. They need to have more security, or they need to have attention. And now is the time to do it. But the good news about this is that you'll be so much better off after you do the hard work that is taking place during this time. It started probably, the end of December and is running through January, February, even into March. And you could be building something great. Sometimes this pressure isn't something bad. It's actually just you're having to just put your nose to the grindstone and make something happen. So maybe you're refurbishing a house, or maybe you're getting ready to launch a home-based business, or maybe you're getting a house ready for sale, or maybe, any of those kind of things. Your family needs attention. So that's going to continue going on. And this is also a really great inner work house because of the relationship between childhood psychology. If you've ever woken up one day and noticed, wow, your partner makes you feel like you felt when you were a little kid. Well, maybe they're doing something that's not great, but the bigger issue is, why are you continuing to attract that pattern? Those types of questions and the answers that can resolve a lot of things for you can come in this time. So any effort you put to inner work is really going to go, extend further. Okay, so now let's talk about the Aquarius transits. That's another major must know, and this is much more easily celebratory because Aquarius makes a beautiful aspect with your placement being a fellow air sign. So you've got that 120-degree angle. The sun will move through there, Mercury will get there, you'll have the new moon there, and this is very much highlighting your creativity, you taking center stage and being seen, hobbies that could turn into business, hidden gifts being re-looked at or discovered, romance, children, creative projects. So it could be creating an actual baby or a creative baby. This is also, I call it the bucket list house, because this is the energy of fun and frolic and things that you've always wanted to do. So you might find that you're putting some attention towards manifesting some things you've always wanted, or that something that you've really been working on or wanting might show up in a really great way. So that is wonderful. This can also have to do with romance and love, but it could have to do with anything else. If you're looking to become pregnant or have something notable with children, an adoption or something like that, this energy is also very supportive of everything like that. Now, all of you will get the positive vibes from this, but any of you who are close to 12 degrees, okay, so this is February 1st, we'll feel it especially in the days at the end of January and the first couple of days of February. And so 12 degrees is basically like the first couple of days of October. So we'll say 7 degrees through 17 degrees. So that's like the last 5-ish days of September, the first 5 or 6 days of October, and the closer you are to around October 1st or 2nd, the more this is going to give you a kiss. Now, this is an example of why you would want to run a free birth chart so that you can drill down into these degrees. Okay, so if you haven't already, go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for the free email newsletter that's front and center there. You'll get a welcome letter. In the welcome letter, it will describe how to access the free software. You can run the free birth chart and go back and listen again and go deeper into this. All right, so the next must know is that we've got a full moon in Leo. And this, again, is super positive for you, okay? So we've got a little bit of the dogging going on from those Capricorn placements, but we've got a lot of other places in your chart that are really being lit up beautifully. And this particularly has to do, some of you will see this with work and career. Some of you will see this with your friendships, and we'll call it the house of big dreams. So the big dreams that you have, something that you might not even dare speak aloud or to someone else. You have a lot of support there from both the Aquarius placements of those transits and the full moon in Leo. So you could see something magical manifest. And again, the same 5th house that's being aspected by the Aquarius placements it rules this Leo, this Leo energy rules that. So you've got multiple placements of the romance and the fun, the bucket list and the kids and the creativity and taking center stage and being seen and recognized. So all of that is brewing. So the days around February 16th, and all Libras can have positive effects from this, but the closer you are to 27 degrees, so basically our late degree friends this time, the other aspects were, that we talked about, we're very focused on the early and middle, but now you late degree friends, 22 degrees or so through the rest of the sign, the closer to 27 degrees, the more of the positive impact. And that's going to be around October 15th or so through the rest of the sign. Okay, so those of you who are in that last couple of days of September, first couple of days of October, you do still have Chiron kind of nudging you there. So I wanted to mention it. Chiron is an asteroid. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron has been in Aries for a while, opposing your sign. But those of you who are, in that time frame of the very end of September, beginning of October, are especially getting this, woundedness being brought up. Now, even though there's extra effects for you all, the rest of you still pay attention, because this is a transit that all Libra placements could be experiencing. And this has to do with converting your places of perceived weakness into places of strength, okay? So an example might be, let's say someone tends to have illnesses, and in the process of them discovering things to help themselves get well, they wind up helping other people. So there's something that could have been perceived as a weakness, but now that person is doing better with the information they found out and they're sharing it with other people. So that example, look for all Libras, look for the places in your life where there's something that is a perceived weakness and see if you can convert it with your inner work, with your change in perspective to something that's super positive. Okay, so I just wanted to add that in. All right, now let's look into the calendar. We'll get the sneak peek from January into April of what's happening when. I'll give you a visual. We'll talk about how to align which activities where and why. We'll talk about this window that's opening, why it's so important, what you can do with it, and then we'll go into that amazing Jupiter-Uranus aspect. Okay, so to better understand the energies of February and how to use them, it will be very helpful to understand the energies that are surrounding February and running our compare and contrast. And plus you get a sneak peek into the whole full first quarter of 2022. So we're going to check this out. I'll give you details about this as it relates to the energies of retrograde and direct, and then we'll hit our retrograde direct list so that you can see what types of activities to align in what location on our calendar here. Okay, so here we are in February. Now, just to give a little backdrop, January we had Mercury go retrograde on January 14th. That shadow period had started in the last couple of days of December. So essentially all of January is full of retrograde energy. All right, Mercury was retrograde, Venus was retrograde, didn't go direct till the end of the month. Now, we still are having a carryover of that energy into February because even though Mercury is direct right here at the beginning, it doesn't clear out of its post-shadow period until the 24th. This is what I mean about this hybrid energy, because the energy after the 24th is more in the direct energy, and then that just steamrolls and gets stronger on the 2nd of March when the energies become more completely clear, and we open into our first open launch period and our first of only 2 open launch periods of the whole year. Now we'll come back to this calendar, but I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the retrograde and direct energies to help you understand. January and for most of February, we've been in Retroville, okay? So this is a time when things are going inwards and backwards. The tides are coming in. If you're trying to put something out onto the water, into the world, the tides are going to just roll it right back in. So it's better to just deal with what comes up. I always like to say, be the spider and eat the food that comes to you instead of trying to go out and find a bunch of food or, weave a bunch of webs and push and, make things happen. This is a time that although the energies are strong with Capricorn energy in January and February, which is good for getting stuff done, it's still better for dealing with the things you have to deal with that have piled up, that, clearing out the clutter, doing your taxes, researching things for the future, wrapping up loose ends. You'll have a lot of focus towards tedious tasks, but that doesn't mean you should be trying to push them out very far. You just kind of deal with them as they come up. It can lend itself to a little confusion because with the retrogrades, things get called into question. So for most of February, we still have some things possibly being called into question, especially that first half. And it's a time really to just honor the flow. If you're trying to do something and it's not working, don't force it, and you'll have a much happier relationship with the retrogrades. So it's a time to be in the moment and just, leave room for last minute magic. But basically leave yourself unscheduled as possible in your circumstance to leave room for this last minute magic. Okay, so just to go back now, this retro that we talked about, this is all of January and pretty much the first half of February, with it starting to wane after the second half of February as we get towards February 24th. But then once we get into February 24th and being triumphantly reiterated as we get to March 2nd, and then very strong from March 2nd through April 27th, is the big open time for launches. So let's look at what that means. So that is the direct energy. Direct in this instance is talking about no personal planets being retrograde. Personal planets, Venus, Mercury, Mars are the personal planets that go retrograde. And we have another retrograde year here because we've got Mars retrograde towards the end of the year. So we've only got another time, part of June, all of July, part of August, that will be completely free from personal planet retrogrades. And of those two windows, this window, this March 2nd through April 27th window is even more strong for launches than that June through August one, because we've got all these Aries energies that will be coming up in March. And that is really good for bursting things out into the world. So here's where you want to do your big launches, your big life dream decisions, get your book out, engagements, weddings, marriages. Spring is, or fall for you all down under, is a lovely time for weddings. And this is a really fantastic time in the stars. Agreements, commitments, investments, moves, brand new projects, having clarity, future planning, and to push, initiate, and even force sometimes. If you have to push through something within yourself, it's much easier to push things out into the world when the tides are going out, as they will be towards the end of February. Okay, so once we get around Valentine's Day, February 14th, things are starting to look pretty clear. We still have another 10 days of the haze until we get it completely clear. And then we still have a little lingering energy of Venus, Venus, of course, ruling love, beauty, money. I went into those energies at, fully in the November, December, January horoscopes, and you can search for Botticelli Venus retrograde to understand that more. But that's very, very important to understand. Okay, so while we've got our calendar here, let's just hit a couple of more points. Eclipse season is going to start mid-March because it starts around 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse, which in this case actually is April 30th. And then there's one in May as well. These are the Taurus Scorpio eclipses. And so those types of, big changes, the anxiety, the butterflies, the feeling like your finger's stuck in a socket, we've got a break here in February from that. Because even though we can see eclipse news or eclipse related news come in at any time during the years of the eclipse cycle, they tend to heat up in the 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipse. So this February time is really nice in that way, that we are free of the heat of eclipse season. And actually February is one of the most non-eventful astrological months of the whole year. We've, a lot of times we've got a lot of things going on. In February, we have a little bit less. So it's just kind of, it's a hybrid in the way that it's, retrograde for part and direct for part. But we don't have as many planets clashing. We don't have any of the big negative planet clashes that we've been having. And actually we have a super positive one, which we're going to talk about more after this. But I just want to show you the dates on the calendar here. Mid-January through mid-March, this Jupiter sextile Uranus aspect. Now, we've been getting shellacked by outer planets connecting in a difficult way. When outer planets come together, it's very powerful and have very strong lasting effects for everybody, and the aspects usually last for a long time because those planets are slower moving. So we only have one pass of this Jupiter-Uranus beautiful kiss, and the strongest part of it will be here February 17th through the 21st. But the whole month before and after, the energies are very strong. So let's talk about what the blessings and potential positive effects of the Jupiter-Uranus connections will be. Okay, let's drill down into the exciting transit of Jupiter sextile Uranus. As we've been talking about, we have been having a lot of difficulties with the outer planets, these slower moving planets that once they come into a configuration, they stay in it for a while. Except that has been very heavy because the configurations that have been happening over the last couple of years have been consistently difficult. But now we have a beautiful period where we've got the outer planets, 2 of them, Jupiter and Uranus, Jupiter in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus, coming together in this fabulous combination. So we're going to talk about some things that go on as positive potentials. But let's first look at what we're looking at here. So here is the planet Uranus. And here is Jupiter. Jupiter's in Pisces. This meeting is actually going to occur at 11 degrees. Okay, so once Jupiter moves to the 11 degree of Pisces position, it will lock in place into a sextile, which is a 60-degree angle. If you've been listening to my work for a while, you know that a 60-degree angle is the opportunity angle. It's the ingredients on a counter angle where we're presented with a bunch of different options to make beautiful meals in our lives. That's a figurative and possibly literal as well. But we have to do something with it. So this is a time where you have to really look for, sometimes it will be apparent, but you have to look for and do something with the potentials, and then you can activate this expansion of Jupiter, the intuition and artistic connectedness to all things of Pisces, the emotional high EQ, and this Uranus, the innovation and surprises and sudden insights and sudden events in this grounded energy of Taurus, meaning the very unstable energy of Uranus is able to be much more manifested into form, which is a hard thing to do with Uranus. It's very fleeting. So the combination of the solidness of the earth placement, the really just innovative and futuristic energies of Uranus combined with this beautiful, emotional, intuitive, expansive energy. So anything that combines all of those energies, there will be lots of opportunities. Now, the dates that are most active are February 17th through the 21st. This is the big day when the official degree and minute line up, but they're still matching at 11 degrees through this time, from February 17th to February 21st. But from all of mid-January, and sensitive people could feel it a little sooner, even beginning of January, possibly even sooner, but certainly mid-January through mid-March. And again, sensitive people, if you're looking out, you might see those effects kind of drizzling in later. But we've definitely got a 2-month period where this energy is very strong and very usable. So we could discover the power of rest and quiet revealing itself in wonderful ways through sudden insights, problem solving, awarenesses of the past, dips into the future. In this particular configuration, daring to do something different can yield very positive results. Now, I'm not talking about, and here we can kind of talk about this, indulging in a crazy idea can work out big time. We're not talking about super reckless, very dangerous things necessarily, unless intuitively there's something very specific in that for you. But in general, this is something with like a calculated risk. That Taurus energy with the Uranus really likes that calculated risk, but just having the daringness to do something different. And that's very subjective. So you doing something different, can feel like a big deal to you, this thing you're going to do. But someone else might not think twice about doing that particular thing. So it's a relative experience, but it could work out really well. Taking a step away from an issue or a pattern could reveal sudden life-changing insights and outcomes. So that's this, Jupiter in Pisces, where we're expanding that quiet space. I like to call it the space of private personal pursuits. And then anything artistic in nature, finding your voice with your art, stepping into art for the first time, expanding the artistic endeavors you have. Artistic endeavors can take on more special significance at this time. And any psychological or other inner work can actually expand even further and include sudden healings of addictions, fear, or anxiety. Now, just to, be very raw here, as humans, we're probably never going to be completely free of fear, right? But the patterns and the addictive pattern of feeling when we have to be afraid, we could have some major impact here, including perfect practitioners that come in, modalities that come in that can be helpful, or our sudden and clear commitment to use tools to help us to calm down when we get anxious. Tools like EFT, the emotional freedom technique. There are so many tools you can look for, tools to clear fear, tools, self-help for anxiety. And of course, if it's very extreme and you need help, then this might be a time where you can find someone that can really help you. And innovation and intuition commingling in powerful ways. So this is just a really magical time full of promise, with that little note, though, the little footnote that says, but hey, it's a sextile, so you might actually have to do something with those possibilities that are surrounding you to activate their full glory. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.